has a WWE star confirmed they are leaving WWE. Shane McMahon, welcome in AEW. My review of AEW Dynamite and more. I'm Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Earlier this week, it was reported that Rhea Ripley might be ready for a SummerSlam return and will look to target Liv Morgan, who is trying to steal her dom-dom. But maybe she now doesn't need a dom because she's got a buddy guy. The pair announced on Instagram that they have tied the knot and gotten married, which is awesome. Massive congratulations to the pair, who look far too good together. From one star set to make her return to WWE screens to one that we may have seen the last of. That being the breaker of records, Natalya. The expiry date of Natalya's WWE deal is something that has been known for a while now. And while the company has reportedly offered her a new deal to stay, as far as we know, that extension has not yet been signed. But the feeling is she'll likely stay with WWE. But while we'll wait concrete news on that matter, we may have received a new update courtesy of Natalya's Twitter bio. As she's removed WWE from it, and it now simply reads, Iron Heart. And being that it was on Twitter, it got a lot of people speculating that this was her confirming her departure from WWE, and we can start the Natty to AEW confirmed gimmicks. But before we get ahead of ourselves, while she has removed WWE from her Twitter bio, she still has references to it on Instagram, which is a way nicer place than Twitter. Go follow me on Instagram. I mostly just talk about beer and Limp Bizkit. So this is likely just internet speculation, but what would you like to see Natty do? Should she stay or should she go? Let me know in the comments down below. Perhaps she could give a little boost to AEW's women's division and those TV ratings. Last week saw a disastrous TV rating for AEW Dynamite, drawing not only its lowest overall viewership, but also its lowest 18 to 49 demo of all time, at a time when they're negotiating a new TV deal with Warner Media. The internet, being the internet, all had their thoughts on why the rating was so low. However, according to Justin Barrasso over at Sports Illustrated, so do take this with a pinch of salt, Warner themselves stressed that one low rating was not a cause for concern. He also adds that while AEW's locker room were far from happy about the record low last week, no one is panicking. According to Barrasso, Warner Media are confident that Dynamite having its Big Bang Theory lead-in again this week will bounce back its ratings. So I guess we'll find out just how much of a draw Sheldon Cooper is for AEW when those figures come out later. Lastly, before the Dynamite review, Tony Khan did an interview with Sports Illustrated where he was asked about the rumor and innuendo that Shane McMahon has been pitching to come in to All Elite Wrestling. Khan said, "I've never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW. I respect Shane McMahon as a wrestler, said no one ever." But look, we may not be able to do Natty just yet, but we can start a Shane McMahon to AEW confirmed gimmick, am I right? Come on, let's make it happen! Speaking of gimmicks, and as we teased over on Parts Fun Known over the weekend and announced on the Raw review on the WrestleTalk podcast, due to popular demand, and because we bloody love doing it, Worst Match Ever is coming back. Over in its new home on Parts Fun Known, check out this trailer for the first episode where we watch one of the worst tag matches I've ever seen. Welcome to Worst Match Ever! We're back!
Oh, this is filmed on in somebody's house, maybe in 1999.
Why is it still blurry?
Why are they licking all these kids?
Double close on.
Oh my god!
The baby was so slow getting in the ring.
We're doing a great job.
Off the ropes, it worked so well last time.
Oh my god. Every spot is just send him into the ropes, he'll come back and you'll just like bop him.
In the process, but he's recovered.
Oh, yeah, thank God he did!
I think for the first time in wrestling history, he tried to do a knee drop and an elbow drop at the same time.
Innovation.
Thank God the referee was...
1, 2, 3, whoa!
That referee wanted to get out of here. It was like, 1, 2, 3, that's it.
He was getting the call from the back. Finish, go to the finish, go to the finish. But it's Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for my review of AEW Dynamite, aka this Forbidden Door stuff's a bit of a lark edition of AEW Dynamite. in about 5 minutes. The show opened with MJF, who came out for a town hall meeting as he wanted to speak to Buffalo's own Daniel Garcia. The pair put over each other's accomplishments, and Garcia talked about how he came up short against MJF when challenging him for the world title last year. But while that sucked, it spurred him to be better. Why be a pillar of AEW when you can be a backbone? MJF went into hard sell mode for this weekend's pay-per-view and on Garcia, challenging him to the biggest match he can possibly get, MJF at All In. But before we get excited about that, Will Ospreay came out as well to put over Garcia. Danny has been racking up these wins as of late because he wants to challenge Ospreay for the international title, and next week at Beach Break, he'll get his shot. And because he might win the AEW World title this weekend, Ospreay will put that on the line as well. The key to this, and the reason why I love this segment so much, is that Max suddenly had a moment of clarity. He just got upstaged. Him offering Garcia a match against him at AEW's biggest show possible isn't as big of a deal as him facing Ospreay on next week's Dynamite. It's still a big match, but it's not the biggest match of Garcia's career. And when he faced MJF last year, that was the biggest match of his career. In the time that he's been gone, MJF has been replaced by the new Buzz Lightyear of Andy's room in Will Ospreay. I just hope this means that Max won't push him out of a window. This is a brilliant little bit of detail for the MJF character, and one that he sold perfectly as he left the segment. I don't think that is the all-in match, by the way. I think this will be motivation for Max to make sure that he, as Woody, becomes the favourite toy once again. Blackpool Combat Club were having a great trios match with LIJ of Hiromu, Shingo and Titan, but it ended in a rare AEW DQ when Mox just got a chair and twatted his opponents. It broke down into a brawl, Tetsuya Naito brawled with Mox, and Bryan Danielson looked on disappointingly at Takagi for using the hammer elbows on Wheeler Yuta, who has a history of neck issues. A lot went down there, and while the DQ finish might be done to build a rematch in New Japan between the factions, it did have a little smell of don't want to beat either of these guys. And I don't love that. The benefit is, because AEW don't book DQs on every single show, this didn't feel cheap or frustrating. Jay White beat Rey Fenix in a very good match to advance in the Owen Hart Cup with a great finish that sold their speed versus strength story. Jay kept attempting the Blade Runner, but Fenix was too quick and escaped. So in the end, White just muscled him into the move and hit it for the win. After the match, the Patriarchy came down to put the champs on notice that they're coming for the trios titles. That works for me, brother. The Jacksons announced that the wild card in the Owen Hart Cup is their own pick. Fightful Select are reporting that while they cannot confirm it's Hangman Page, he is expected to be back in AEW in July-ish. The Acclaim came out for a promo, and the Bucks announced that they will have a trios match this Sunday, but Billy Gunn announced that sadly, he will not be in the match, which means we will not get to see Billy Gunn versus Kazuchika Okada because the Rainmaker would stand no chance. Instead, he'll be replaced by Horseshoe Tanahashi. A great bit of fun for the New Japan diehards and a whole new dynamic for this forever feud now that Okada has this new character. Toni Storm, Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa teamed together to beat the Outcasts in a match that really sold the tensions and dissensions between the three babyfaces. Everyone looked great in this match, and in particular, I really want to put over Harley Cameron, who continues to impress. She was dead good in this match. Mina won with the Mina driver, and then May celebrated with her BFFs by giving them both champagne. At first, Toni looked like she was into this a little bit, but then Mina attempted to crack her in the head with a champagne bottle, only to hit Mariah instead. Toni was furious, Mina was shook, and May was dead. A great final angle ahead of their title match this weekend, and a brilliant way to build May's decision on who is the bestest of her BFFs. Mercedes Moné cut a promo on Stephanie Vaquer ahead of their title match this weekend, and Vaquer will have a match on Collision this Saturday. Would have been nice to have built this match with more than just video promos, but I feel like asking AEW to have more than one women's match on Dynamite at this point is like putting Ribena in the ocean and expecting it to taste fruity. Chris Jericho came out for a promo and announced that Minoru Suzuki will be his tag partner this weekend at Forbidden Door, but Murder Grandpa instead challenged Jericho for the FTW Championship. Joe and Crew came out for some fun Shibata comedy, and they brawled and sent the heels packing. Look, it is what it is. Jericho versus Suzuki will be fun. This could have been an email. Zack Sabre Jr. took on Kyle O'Reilly in a match that was for the sickos, who replied to this announcement like this.
Yes!
This was so awesome that it got This Is Wrestling chants, and Buffalo was right. This was wrestling. Zach was awesome, Kyle was awesome, and this was awesome. I don't care if it's a heatless banger, Dan Layton. This is my cup of tea, and my thirst was quenched. Bang all over me. Brilliant this was. We got some crossover wackiness afterwards as the rest of TDMK came out to support Zach, while Tomohiro freaking Ishii came out to back up Orange Cassidy. I loved all of this, and I popped for the Stone Pitbull. It was messier than most pro wrestling divorces, but I had a wonderful time. And the Dynamite main event saw our Forbidden Door main event team together as Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland took on the Gates of Agony. How can they possibly coexist? Pretty well once they got on the same page. Will couldn't pull the trigger on the Tiger Driver, but they finally worked together to beat the bigger men in a great final few minutes. And the show closed with a brilliant visual as Will... And the show closed with a brilliant visual as... And the show closed with a brilliant visual as Will cheekily stole... Come on, why can't I say this line?
It's one of those days.
Ugh. And the show closed with a brilliant visual as Will cheekily stole Swerve's title to pose with it. Got it in the end, but that Strickland Killer Instinct chop blocked Will and he beautifully hit the house call to lay him out. A great finish to a very good Dynamite. All the segments built the pay-per-view this weekend, and it was a very fun go-home show. And it's 4 out of 5. Now go and get hyped for Money in the Bank by watching myself and Oliver Davis review every Money in the Bank ever in 3 words or less / fewer. That line.